Android O. Doesn't look like an Oreo to me. I reckon it's going to be called something else, but maybe they'll change the icon as well.
Did you get that from, yeah?
Well,
is that official?
It's official. Because we go to this website, which is, if you want to play with it, test drive, at google.com/android/beta. If you've got an eligible device, what's an eligible device? One of ours, the Nexus or the Pixels. If you've got one of those, then you can download the beta. So we've done that on a device that Ian's got, which it'll then basically be aware when you do this. You want to back up everything first because it's going to essentially factory reset your device and apply a beta, right? So it's a test firmware. So you're an enthusiast if you're doing this. There are some risks. There's no direct support. There's community support. But if you want to play with this stuff having a go, there's some really nice stuff in it. Then go for your life. So this device that Ian's got is running the O preview. It's public, so you'll get a device when you assign it to in your Google account. It'll look through your Google account, say these are the eligible devices you've got. It'll download the update. It'll warn you in the beta program, and you can see that the Android version is on O on my screenshot there. Some really cool stuff. Picture-in-picture. If there's some Samsung guys in the room or ex-Samsung, they'll say the Samsung devices had picture-in-picture for a little while, but we brought that native into the platform. Tap on the home button and it will allow you to go to picture-in-picture. So you could actually then have a resizable, movable window that hovers and will change presence on the screen. Handy when you're, I guess, watching your Foxtel Go and you want to take some notes, jot down some footy scores, whatever. Copying stuff between applications, when you're copying like phone numbers and this sort of stuff between applications, it's handy to have them both on screen. Something that another platform has had for a while is notification dots. So being able to look at, not have to go to the application itself all the way in, or to have to go to the notification window. But if you've got an app that's got notifications and you hold down the button, it'll show what notifications are there and also what sort of functions you want to call. But if you've received a new email, it'll actually pop up over the top of that app and show you that there are some notifications for that app, and you can swipe those notifications away as well without having to go back up to the notification window. Autofill works, I guess, in websites, but we've got autofill working across some apps now, so it'll actually start to remember if this is your Dropbox account that you will actually put it in there and start to do autofill. Smart text selection, again, another Samsung feature that's been there for a while on the Note devices, where it'll recognise that the most common things in copy and paste are things like phone numbers, addresses, physical addresses. So what we've done is, and names of places and sort of stuff. So you hover your mouse, and rather than try and drag, and if you're particularly on a small screen with fat fingers like mine, trying to select the right amount of text and then copy that into maps, you just hold your finger over that paragraph of text, and it'll recognise that's an address. It'll select just the address. Then it'll pop up with a context-sensitive menu that says, do you want to launch that in Google Maps now? Or if it's a phone number, do you want to call someone? Or it's an email address, do you want to email them? So it makes it really simple for doing that sort of stuff on the go. TensorFlow Lite is some machine learning stuff we're built into the platform, so we've been able to leverage machine learning from the platform. And we've got Honeywell on stage a bit later helping out one of our GCP specialists, our cloud specialists. You'll see how you're able to write a bunch of stuff to collect information off the device and push that up into the Google Cloud and then start to do some machine learning with it. So having, essentially, if you watch Sundar's presentation, our CEO, he talks about why are we building mobile devices. It's because we want to get the power of our machine learning into the hands of every consumer. 2 billion people walking around the world with being able to tap into Google's cloud power, right? It's pretty clever. So we're building that more and more into the platform. At Treble, interesting name for the project, but what it is it's resolving this issue, and I'm going to jump to a quick one. I'm going to go past some of these in the interest of time. I'll send you this deck, or you can watch the O keynotes and presentations. Project Treble is a modular base for Android. It's going to allow us to really quickly get stuff out there. It's not Google's issue that the updates are so slow. It's the process. It's the architecture. It's not the fault of the OEM. It's not the fault of the carrier. It's just the architecture, right? So we're going to essentially introduce a hardware abstraction layer, right? So if this was how Android really was, and modular like that would be fine, but it's not. There's lots of hooks between all these things, right? That looks neat, and they're all the different components, but those components are woven like this, right? So particularly starting from chipset. We release a chipset, as we release an Android version, it goes to Qualcomm, to Samsung Exynos, to Intel. They need to write their driver support library first. They then pass that on to the OEM. They do their customizations. They then pass it on to the carrier. They do more customizations. It's a really long process, right? Looks like this, right? This is how long it takes to go through. It can be months before we announce something, and we've only gone to public beta, so it's going to be some time before we announce the launch. But when we do, it'll go to our device first, because obviously we control that process. But when it goes out to others, there's a long process involved. So what we've done is actually build another layer, which is this abstraction layer. And we provide a vendor interface implementation, which allows essentially the platform to be separated from the hardware below it. As long as you pass what we call the VTS, the vendor test suite, same as the apps passing this compatibility test suite above, as long as you pass that, then you can work on any platform. So it's going to take big chunks out of our deployment, right, when it takes from us releasing stuff to market before it actually gets out to an end device. So that's what it looks like there in a simpler diagram. There's VTS, vendor test suite, talking to the vendor interface, and then the OS framework is talking to the apps with the CTS. So apps have always been CTS compliant. If they're in Play Store, they're compatibility test suite compliant. They meet all our code requirements. The OS framework can be VTS compliant, which means they run on any hardware.